Alright everybody, let's see how this freaking works. We've got our microphone set, -12 on the receiver and transmitter, and then I bumped it up a little bit to -8 gain, -8 dB on the camera side. And notice that having everything at -12s, which is what somebody else with this setup has, they're using, and iMovie, which is what I use for my video editing, you're only I can only boost the audio in post by 400%. I can't boost it anymore, so it's not quite enough. You're having to use like all the boost, and you're having to probably still, crank your audio up all the way to hear it well. So I'm incrementally boosting by 2 dB. I tried -10, now -8. I'm hoping between there and -6. If I go any louder, it starts to turn red, and then I'll start getting that distortion and crackling. So hopefully this is working, and I'll find the setup for this bike. And who knows, I may have to go back to like -10 dB on the Triumph, because the Triumph's louder than this. So had one of my subscribers becoming a buddy, Ken. I had helped him with an ECU flash. He lives near me, so I've helped him troubleshoot a couple times, and he watches the channel and lives near me, so he sometimes swings by. So we're gonna go for a little ride and then go up to maybe to Braselton and just grab a quick bite to eat. So I've got my Sunday morning ride with Dave video is compiling on the MacBook right now. I'll push that up tonight. Well, this afternoon when I get home. We're talking about Prince Harry and Meghan, and South Park, and trans, and how the biggest threat to our modern society is shitty parents, and how those all interconnect. I don't know if you find it interesting. I did. I find it an interesting topic anyway. So we'll see what people think of that. We tackle a couple uncomfortable issues in these troubling times. And now we're going to go for just a little quick ride. Now, I got an update from the infamous Brian Stokes. Infamous, guys, he's an awesome dude. He's the guy that's working on my putting Humpty Dumpty back together again, my street or my speed twin. So he's probably will be done with it today, unless there are any mishaps or scheduling conflicts came up. But I talked to him on Friday, and he got the cylinders on and the head, and he'd put the valves in. So all he really had to do left was put the cams in it, and then set the valve clearances, to that cam. And then he had to put it all back in the motor, and put the motor back in the bike and fire it up and take it for a test ride. He's going to do some heat cycles, break it in, make sure it's running to his standards, which are high. He's OCD like I am, and he really knows what to look for. So at that point, I'm going to have to make a decision. Do I get it back and keep it, knowing that it's been rebuilt by one of the best in the business, and I probably shouldn't have to worry about it? Or am I going to let my damn OCD get the better of my better judgment, and am I going to sell it and get something else? I really love that bike. It's got so much character. It's so much fun. It's got just the right amount of mods and suspension work, and if I feel like I can go beat the piss out of it in the mountains and on track and not have that happen again, which I'm taking some safeguards to make sure that happen. I'm going through my map, making sure there's nothing in there that we hadn't considered, making sure that there is no additional revving going on. The quick shifter is coming out, so there's no chance of those missed shifts that occasionally happen with an aftermarket quick shifter. I don't believe those are the problem, but I can't say 100%. It could. Anything could contribute when there's a major catastrophic failure like that. And so rather than second guess myself and even take just the tiniest chance on contributing to, ooh, there's one of those V's. That's like a 600 something horsepower.
JM Turk Road?
Where?
Turk. T-U-R-K.
What about it?
Do you know that road?
No, I know some twisty roads between here and there, though.
Well, that's right. It's the second roundabout. You go all the way around the roundabout, it's Martin Road. But if you go straight, it runs into Elizabeth, and it's got...
If you want to lead, you can lead.
Just trying to share some roads.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, I go and hit Cash Road, but if I can follow you, it's up to you. I don't care.
Let's do this one road.
I'll follow you.
All right.
And then we'll get you in camera.
Don't laugh.
It's all right. I'm not out to set any lap records today. There goes Ken. Just goose it. Wheelie time. Stop. Wheelie time. Alright, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, so part of me is considering getting rid of it. I know, people are gonna be like, dude, it's such an awesome bike. I know, but it's also kind of, I go through bikes a lot. And once it's kind of in my head, you know, I had a problem like this when I had my, what did I have? I had a brand new, it was 3 months old, if that. Probably not even. I think it was only like a month and a half old. I had a Ducati 848 Nicky Hayden edition that Nicky Hayden had hand signed himself on the tank, and then they clear coated over it to protect it. So I had, and it was only like I think 150 made for the U.S. or something like that, and I lucked out and got one. So I had it, had a dog run out in front of me, hit the dog, and went down. And now that was mostly cosmetic, although I could have totaled it out because it did ding the frame. Well, technically the frame, the steering head stop was bent and cracked. We just welded it, repainted it, because I didn't want to total out the bike. So yeah, so we had that, and you know what? And after going down on the left side, I tore up my shoulder really good. I didn't dislocate it, but I did a separation, which hurts. When you pull those tendons and ligaments, it takes like a year to heal. I mean, it's your shoulder. Every time you move, I'd roll over in my sleep onto my arm, and I'd wake up screaming because it was so excruciating for like the first month or so. It was bad. And after that, like, I just never felt comfortable on that bike again. We had it completely replaced. My dealer worked with me to make sure I got maximum money on the repair, and so we were able to replace some of the plastic pieces with all Shift Tech carbon fiber. Got an Olin damper, Terminioni carbon exhaust. So I got, that bike was pimp. But I never felt the same on it ever again after crashing on it, and so I eventually did end up selling it. So, yeah, anyway, that's sometimes once it gets in your head, it messes with me. So here, I didn't crash or anything. It's just more of a, when I'm going down the road, I need to, I don't know why he went over there. Don't know why I followed. But it's, I don't know. We'll see. I really do love the bike. But part of me is wondering if, maybe it's time to not press my luck. I already had it come apart once. So maybe go get something else. And if I do, as long as it doesn't sell between now and Friday or whatever, Mountain Motorsports has got a brand new 2023 Yamaha MT-09 SP model. So they take that MT-09, it's got a few more horsepower, I think, than the last year or 2 years ago model. They did a bump in displacement from 847 up to 900 something cc's or something like that. And it's got KYB, really nice front forks. It's an upgrade. I think it's got Brembo brakes up front. It's got Olin's shock on the rear. It's got super sticky tires. And then it's got a special paint job, and the new one's got quick shift, auto blip, all kinds of stuff. It's got it has an IMU, so it's got better electronics than this or the Triumph. And it's a punchy motor. You get the ECU flashed in a little slip-on or something, and you're making 110, 112 at the wheel. It's light. It's basically like their version of a street triple RS, just a little less horsepower, but a bit more torque, which is fine. I don't mind losing. I don't need a shit ton of horsepower as a second bike. I got this thing. So I may end up going and getting that. For 11.2 plus taxes and fees and stuff, if I can get a decent trade on the Speed Twin, I'll lose a grand or two. That's about it. But I'll have a Yamaha that makes a bit more power. It's still naked. It's fun. It'll sound great. Way better electronics. It gives up the retro cool vibe, but it's got a different kind of cool. I will say the Triumph looks way better. But I don't know. Just an idea I'm throwing around. I thought about the MT10 as well. The MT10 is 14.2, so it's 3 grand more, but a lot more power. But I'm kind of like, you know what? I think the MT, but then that doesn't come with Öhlins and stuff. So it's like you can get the SP. If I want the SP on the MT10, then I'm looking at 17.5 plus taxes, and then I just don't want to spend that kind of money on a second bike. So that's what I'm thinking. The SP version of the MT09 is kind of like the best street hooligan bike. It's going to come down to two things. Am I comfortable with the longevity of the Speed Twin, knowing that I'm not just going to be cruising around and, you know, playing on little back roads and stuff the way Ken, or probably most of the people that buy this bike, that bike, tend to ride. I'm going to be up there wailing on it in the mountains all the time. I'm going to be, that's not a bad little road. I'm going to be, I want to take it out on track, where I'm going to be bouncing off the rev limiter and stuff. And it's like, I need to know that that bike is built for that and is going to hold up. If I feel like it is, then I'm just going to keep it, because I do have a lot of money tied into it, and I love the bike. And if not, I think I'm going to pick up the Yamaha. Just move on to the next. It'll suck. I'll have 2 Japanese bikes. I won't have anything European. Nothing fancy. I like always having at least 1 Euro bike. Alright, I need to come back on this road. Probably not on this necessarily, because this is just kind of big and I'm just in second gear, barely giving any throttle. But that Triumph would be amazing, just ripping through these turns with that punchy little motor, light bike, good handling. Right now I'm not really giving it more than 4% throttle. And I'm not making fun of you, Ken. It's just this bike is completely overkill for a little road like this. That is an interesting road. I need to remember how to get back here. Oh, and it dumps us on cash. Interesting. JM Turk. Oh, all right. I know exactly where we are. Yeah, I know where we are now. Second gear wheelie back there. Oh, this thing's so retarded. Yeah, so that's what's coming to the channel. Those are some changes I'm thinking of making. We're gonna get the bike back and have a good discussion with Brian and see what our gut tells us. And then I got to decide, you know, do I go with the MT-09 SP? Do I go with the MT-10? You know, I was looking at monsters. Ducati prices, holy shit, have shot up recently. You know, for a while, Ducati prices were coming down. Well, not coming down. They just weren't accelerating as much as, whatchamacallit, Japanese prices were. You know, back in the day, 12, 15 years ago, you know, the Ducati was 14, 15 grand, and in a world where bikes were 9 or 10, it was like, wow, that's so expensive. And they kind of stayed there for a while. And, let him know his blinker's on. He doesn't know the hand signal, I don't think, for blinkers. Come on. I don't even know if he's looking at me. Trying to get him to turn his damn blinker off. No, 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 no. He's thinking I want him to pass. No. I've never actually ridden with him. I'm trying to think if I've ridden with him before. I'm up on the inside. Yeah, he's not getting the hand signal. Oh well. Anyway, that's what's going on with the channel. So, there's some potential news. At the very least, I'm going to get my bike back. And then we'll see. I think he turned his blinker off. Anyway, I can't think of anything else to talk about. We're not really going on a fast ride here. We're just kind of tooling around some back roads. I'm going to stop and just grab something to eat real quick. But spring is right around the corner. It's almost, what is it, 66 right now and sunny. I'm wearing summer gloves. I'm wearing my spring jacket. So, well, this is my track jacket, so it's perforated, no liner, with a t-shirt. So I'm perfectly comfortable right now. Not bundled up for cold weather at all. I'm sure to go back to cold. We're not out of winter yet, but we are almost March. So usually by the end of March, you get into, you know, we should start coming back in the 70s and low 80s already. Winter here really lasts about 3 months. And it's usually mild. We'll have a couple cold snaps, and a lot of days it's in the 40s and 50s. And that's pretty average. So we go right to Culver's, go up to Braselton Brew Pub. Well, that'll put him close to home. So let's go that way. Take us up past Road Atlanta. Do-do-do-do, that guy's turning. Come on, Ken. There we go. And that damn blinker's on. There it is. We got it. Second gear. Let's roll on from 50. Should know that the cars ahead are Johnny Law. Alright, so we're going to drop down to 40 miles an hour in second. And go 40 to 100 in second gear. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. noticed something on this bike that I noticed on the ZX6R. When you're in a low gear at low RPM and you snap it, it does not give you full throttle. It actually lags a little. Now I'm up at 5.5 now. Yeah, it kind of, you snap it and it rolls on. It doesn't come on instantly, which is weird because this is not a ride-by-wire. But clearly they've got something in there to keep idiots like me from killing myself. Because that should have just, I don't know, I was expecting more. Once it got rolling, then it was like a freight train. We went from, was looking at the speedometer, but I imagine we were getting up to like, went from 40 to 115-ish or something. It's in one gear. And it came on like a sledgehammer once it started rolling. But just rolling along and snapping it, it came on and then it dulled a little bit and then it came back on. So either traction control's cutting in or there's something going on. And my ZX6R was like that. If I was at a certain RPM and I just snapped the throttle to full, it'd actually bog. It was weird. And it was after it was tuned and all that. I think when I talked to Chris Moore or Mike, I forget which one it was, up at Chris's shop, said sometimes could be just the way that motor runs at certain RPMs. When you just yank the throttle plates open with the conventional cable style, your air velocity stalls. It opens up too quickly and there's not enough, motor's not pulling a vacuum through the intake or something like that. It just goes, blah, it doesn't know what to do. You better roll it on, which is fine because, you know, you want to go fast, you want to be smooth. You should never be just snapping the throttle like that. Yeah, I'm getting hungry. I had a little Jimmy Dean, one of those little whole wheat, egg white breakfast sandwiches, the healthier ones. But they're only like 270 calories. It's not that much to keep you going. So we'll go over to Braselton Brew Pub, see what they got. Alright, Ken, we're gonna race. You have no idea we're gonna race. I like that bike in red. I like mine in gray, but the red looks a little more, I don't know, looks a little more classy. For some reason the matte black, almost to me anyway, because it's got green and white accents, almost makes it look a little more modern. I think that looks a little more traditional. One of my favorite places coming up on the right. Michelin Raceway, Road Atlanta. So as soon as I figure out, well, I guess I could sign up for the track day either way, because I'm just going to take this bike or the other bike, whatever that other bike ends up being. It's hard to tell if it's my OCD bugging me about the thing, or in my head I'm subconsciously using the motor blowing up in the rebuild as an excuse to just go get something different, just for something new to play with. I will say that SP looks great. It's a funky styling, but I mean, as far as the features and performance and all the electronic goodies it's got, to me it's pretty righteous. I forgot to bring my headset, so someone's calling me. I knew I forgot something. My phone, but it's in my pocket. Guess I have no music. Anyway, I guess I'll shut down, and that's enough of me yapping. This is done half to talk about some updates coming to the channel and some stuff and what's going on with the other bike. And then I also wanted to test the this particular microphone setting to see if it's clipping or giving me too much wind noise or what. I'm trying to find the ideal setting, and you need to get out and go windy and go fast and rev the motor, and because it's that ambient noise that was causing the clipping. So I'm gonna go ahead and catch up to these folks. I can roll off the throttle and use my right hand, and we're gonna shut down. So we'll talk to everybody, all you guys later, and everyone have a good one. Ride safe. Riding season is almost upon us.